Hi, this is Darren, and today I'm at the Doheny's Pool Park where we do research and development, test products, etc. Today I am going to be showing you how to replace your old above-ground pool pump with a new Doheny's above-ground pool pump. Doheny's offers a great above-ground pump that'll cost you a lot less money. Let's get started. Pretty much ready to go out of the box. And here's your new above ground Doheny pump. You can see it's got a real nice big strainer housing basket, a clear lid to see when you need to clean out that basket, and a 6-foot standard prong cord. The first step is you have to, if there's water in your pool and it's fully operational, you must plug the skimmer line and the return line. If you're replacing this pump at the beginning of the season, there's no need to do this step. First, we'll remove the basket, take a winter plug that are sold at Doheny's, and down at the bottom, you plug that hole. And then over to the return fitting, the best way to do it is to unthread your eyeball fitting and then put in your plug. Okay, so after your return line and skimmer line are plugged, we need to simply remove two of the hoses. We need to remove the suction hose and the hose that goes from the pump to the filter. Start by removing the clamps. It's a great time to replace old rusty clamps like this one, and you can see there's going to be water, and this is just water coming from what's left in the filter because it's not coming from the pool because we have these plugged off. It has a shutoff valve, which is always a good idea. This is a shutoff valve sold by Doheny's. We can either do that, or if it's real stubborn getting this one off, you can just remove this from the fitting because we will reuse this hose. There's going to be a little water left in this hose too, because it's once again draining out the... And then you need to remove the bolts to detach the pump from the base. And now we are ready for the new pump, just like that. Make sure to remove your old fittings if you want to reuse them. If they're in good shape, reuse them. If not, buy a new tapered fitting and you're good to go. Now we're ready for the new pump. And we're pretty much just going to reverse the process. Start by mounting it on the base. Once you're done mounting it to the base, you're ready to put back on the fittings. Make sure when you're putting your fittings back on or putting new fittings back on, you use Teflon tape. Very important. When you're putting on Teflon tape, make sure you go in the direction that it won't unravel when you're threading it into the pump itself. You can be generous with Teflon tape. Use plenty to make sure. It's better to use too much than not enough. You don't want it to leak at that threaded connection. So if you notice, I went in this direction so the end was coming this way, so when I thread, it's not going to unravel it. You hand tighten until you can't go anymore, and then you use a pair of pliers to just tighten it a little bit. Don't over tighten it. These are just plastic fittings. They can crack if you over tighten it. Now do the suction line with Teflon tape. As you remember, we just unthreaded this fitting rather than disconnected the hose, which is fine to do. That should do it. Get rid of all the old Teflon tape remnants. Okay, and now we just clamp this back to the skimmer. If you remember, that clamp was rusted out, so I'm going to put a brand new one on here. Okay, we're almost done now. We got our clamp secure. You might have to tighten those down a little bit again after the pump starts running, because under pressure you might get a little drippage, in which case just continue to tighten them down. And before we turn on this pump, got to make sure we get our winter plugs out of the skimmer and return thing. And make sure you return your skimmer basket and your eyeball fitting. Okay, now we're ready to plug in the pump. Just check all your connections that you replaced to make sure there's no dripping water. If need be, tighten the clamps a little bit harder. And after your pump is up and running, once again, recheck all your fittings to make sure you have no dripping water. And that'll do it. We've just really quickly installed an above ground pump. Most people can do this yourself with no problem at all.